Sometimes it takes a little extra courage to simply be yourself. So today we're giving you the push you may need, sharing strategies to help you find the courage to be your best, bold self. Studio 5 contributor Connie Sokol is here to coach us through the process. Okay, let's get started, Connie. How do we be our best, bold self?
That's right. I'm thinking hard. I think it's so hard for us women. We don't want to offend. We get into a situation, we feel insecure. And so I think that we can struggle with this on a variety of levels.
Okay, so what do we do? What's that first step?
First thing, I think it's so important to sit with your soul. This is so hard for women. First of all, to get 5 minutes of peace without someone jumping on you or calling you. But that kind of feeling of, I am just gonna let down. And so super important for that is to just take a safe, quiet place and let down for 5 or 10 minutes and really feel through the difficult feelings. I know when I've talked to women before, one woman in particular, I remember her saying, when I get quiet, all I feel is pain. And I said, oh my gosh, I've been there. But the great thing is if you can put yourself in a safe place, you can allow yourself to feel those feelings, move through them, and let them go. And so sometimes that means adding meditative breathing, sometimes Lamaze breathing, whatever it takes. I remember I had a baby, and I remember the Lamaze was just not working. But I started doing these guttural breaths, like, I don't know, probably scared the women in the other rooms, but just as I was getting through this experience, but brought out a baby. So sometimes we just gotta get those feelings out, and then we can sit with some clarity and some peace.
And we have to understand too, right, that those feelings can be natural, and to not, you know, think that we're odd or we're thinking incorrectly, but that if we have these feelings, it then is what we do after those feelings.
That's exactly right. And to accept that this is part and parcel of the life that we live, and we just got to breathe through it, move forward from it. But first we got to sit so we can accept ourselves before we have those other moments where we're going to have to be our most courageous self.
And now you have a quote, right, that sums this up?
Yes, I love it. It's from Gary Zukov. It's from The Seat of the Soul. And I think it's fantastic. It's trying to find that peace. When the energy of the soul is recognized, acknowledged, and valued, it begins to infuse the life of the personality. And so again, that energy of the soul, recognize it, acknowledge it, and say, you know what? I feel these feelings, they're valid, and then be able to accept and process them.
Okay, what are some of the examples, the moments that require us to be our bold best selves?
Sometimes they can be tough situations, whether it's in business or it's the PTA lady that's intimidating, or it's your kids. It's those different situations that require us to say or do the difficult thing. So what's a great thing to do with that is to start with something that will help us to have success. Just one step that will feel like, I got this.
Connie, what else do you have?
Well, I love the idea of the first thing to do is to get a killer outfit. Now, for women, this is too funny, but it's so true. When you are wearing something or your hair looks great, something that you feel like, I got this, you can do this. If you don't, then you're sitting in the conversation thinking, does she see that? Did she? That it makes it harder. I know Sarah Van Breathnot, I know you say bra knot, but whatever. She wrote Simple Abundance, and she said that when, I think it was her publisher she was going to meet, she was going on the subway and she had bought this suit, but it was hot, so it was sticky and it wasn't sitting right. She had sweat tacos and she got a manicure and it was too red, it was garish, and she said, I was so uncomfortable the whole time. Couldn't focus on this pivotal moment. So wear something good and have it be, you're set, you got it.
And everyone can find that one thing that just makes it. For me, if I get my nails done, I feel really good.
I feel good. Let's have that conversation.
Okay, so there's a YouTube video that drives your next point home on this.
Yes, to use your voice, and you can use it for good. So sometimes we think using our voice and we're nervous, but we'll do that in a second. But this is about using it for good. And it means that anytime we stand up for good, we're going to end up having good come out of it in some fashion. So I saw this, I don't know if they can run it, but I'm setting this up. It's a tennis competition, and there's the two players, and then the service is done, and the guy that's on the other side says, that was out. And he's basically says, you can challenge it.
Let's take a look at this.
Challenge it if you want to challenge it. Yeah.
So he's telling him to challenge it.
Tom says, are you serious? And he says, yeah, challenge it. And the other guy's like shocked, like, are you kidding? This is an actual match. But you know what I love about this? I love that it really was out, and that this man stayed true to his integrity, used his voice in a difficult situation, and did he win the match? No. Do we remember the name of the man who won the match? No. What we remember is this integritous act. He used his voice. Sometimes we worry about offending, or if it's not going to work into our best interest, just do the right thing. Use your voice.
Okay, with the voice aspect in mind, you can use your voice to kind of get yourself out of a pinch.
Sure, and you can also, I mean, those difficult conversations, that's, I think, when it's hardest to use our voice is when we are going to have the negative connotation in a conversation. So if we can have some go-to phrases, it paves the way a little smoother. So say you're having a difficult interaction and you can say something like, well, I'm wondering if, or I'd love to revisit, or I appreciate you sharing that. I would like to talk more about. If we can have some soft phrases, it really eases our way into those more difficult parts of the conversation that we know are coming.
And with those difficult conversations, a lot of things that stem with that is fear. How do we get past the fear and lighten up a little bit more with our attitudes and our persona towards others?
Well, that's it, is lightening up. We have so much of this focus, the self-focus that can be so intense. And the more we think about ourselves, the more insecure we become. So it's wonderful we can just lighten up. The other day I was getting gas, dressed to the nines, pulled away, had like 3 different things, and I heard this thud, and I was like, what was that? I look in the rearview mirror, it's the gas hose laying on the ground. I was like, are you kidding me? That's like since I was 16. So I back up, and of course the first thing I do is look around. And I look,
is anyone watching?
That's right.
Is anyone?
Older man was standing there, and he just threw his head back, and he started laughing. I started laughing. We were just roaring. But it wasn't one of those you're a moron laughs. It was a laugh, a shared laugh. And just to lighten up, we're human, we're having a human experience. Enjoy it, laugh about it, share it, move on.
Okay, and then lastly, people can get some information more information if they want from your website.
Absolutely. In fact, we have a promotion our last time on the Life is Too Short collection, Laugh and Lighten Up. It's about being a woman, wife, and mother, surviving and thriving, on my website, ConnieSokol.com or Amazon.com.
Connie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.